My wife asked me an interesting question yesterday. She was like, well, if you had unlimited money, what kind of store would you open up? And
That's
I
a
was
good
like,
question.
that is a good question. And I'm like, being the nerd that I am, I'm like, I think I would open up a D&D, a place where people can go play D&D and sell comic books and, and then all kinds of nerd stuff. So nerd shop, basically.
That's awesome. I think that you probably would get good business depending on where it is.
Yeah, and if you just break even, then who cares, right?
Yeah.
Pinball, I'd throw a couple arcade games in there,
Super fun.
Yeah, all the nerds.
I always wanted to play D&D, but I never did.
Oh, it's fun.
Well, we might have to invite you to.
Okay.
Because I never did either.
Okay.
So this was a COVID thing where we have a mutual friend, Adam, and he had reached out to me. He's like, hey, this might sound crazy, but would you want to play D&D just as an excuse to like see people over Zoom?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't think so, because I never did. I just had like all the standard media ideas of what D&D was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, you know what? Sure, why not? It was an excuse to see some people, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had friends that played it, and they didn't really invite me, which I felt kind of some sort of way about. I was like, oh, okay, well, fuck you. You don't want to play D&D with me. I don't want to play with you. But I had this thing in my heart where I was like, I just want to try it.
Yeah.
It seems fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm game.
All right. There you go. Awesome.
Have a game night sometime.
That's it.
Well, what's funny too is I realized very quickly that it wasn't about the rules. It wasn't about knowing everything that's in these massive manuals of what what D&D is. It's just about hanging out and making fun of each other and finding ridiculous ways to solve little problems that come along the way. Yeah, whatever the easy solution is, we are definitely not going to do.
Well, there's some sort of an imagination element to it too, isn't there?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
definitely theater of the mind kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it sometime.
There you go. All right. And it's not so it used to be kind of shameful. Like when I was a kid, D&D, there's only nerds, play it. But now I think it's just so much more acceptable and so many more people do it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that those nerds grew up and became successful, and then it was like, oh, well, it's actually cool to do that.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's cool too how many celebrities they'll be interviewed and they'll be talking about their campaign, and as they're being interviewed, they'll be like, well, tell us about it. Well, how could I possibly tell you about a 2-year campaign that involves all these ridiculous characters and everything? It's just funny to see how they kind of lean in.
Totally.
I think Matthew Lillard actually has a video podcast where they do. It's just the games as they're happening, and he's just.
I bet that's fun for people to watch.
Yeah, I think so.
I found one on TV one time that was just the same, it was people I recognized, one of the guys from The Walking Dead, and, a few new people, and I was like, oh my God, they're just playing D&D, and I'm watching, all of a sudden I'm like 25 minutes later, I'm like, oh,
I guess it's kind of in the same realm of those YouTubers that are gamers that stream, or Twitch or whatever the hell it's called, where, they're streaming their gameplay, and people eat that shit up.
Right? Millions of viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
I think it's fun too now that we're at this point where we're kind of rewatching all the movies, from our childhood and stuff like that, to see how many of them have an undertone of Dungeons and Dragons built into them. So we did a review of Big Trouble in Little China, and Greg's he sort of had this realization. He's like, this is a Dungeons and Dragons movie, and all the elements of it that kind of pull from
magic, monsters.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
John
Great.
Carpenter.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we talked about last time.
Yeah. So we've gotten pretty far in, but let's take a moment just to welcome, I think now co-host of Latch-Key Dads, Ellen Latzen. Thanks so much for being back.
Guest host. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Yeah. So, on the heels of what we were just talking about, that, D&D sort of has this element to movies. I think we're going to talk about a movie that I think you could make an argument has some D&D elements in it, with some goblins and magic and whatnot. So
absolutely.
I'm going to talk about the movie Labyrinth.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorites. I remember when it came out, I definitely didn't see it in the theater, but my best and oldest friend in the world, Amanda, she and I have been best friends since the first day of kindergarten. This was our favorite movie to watch together, and we were just obsessed with it. And it was the coolest thing when it came out. I mean, you guys were a little bit older at that point. I was 6.
Okay.
So I looked at the release date last night. It was, I think, June 27th of 86 that it came out. So I was almost 6 at that point. But so you guys would have been like 10-ish.
Yeah.
Were you super into it then?
Well, what's funny, as I was saying to Greg, is that I feel like I definitely didn't see it in the theater. And I think I probably saw it when it was on one of those like weekends of HBO.
Mm-hmm.
But I only got to see part of it because we probably like we're going somewhere and it just happened to be on at that time. And so in rewatching, I'm like, I remember this. And then there were a few scenes toward the end where I was like, I don't remember this at all. So I'm starting to think that I never saw the movie through its entirety. So
like you were watching it recently and you were not remembering this, or
yeah, in rewatching it, before we did the,
oh my god.
and I was like, oh my gosh, either that or I like blacked out as a child and like
it could be.
I don't know.
You said now that you turned 50, you don't remember anything. So.
Everything's just fading away. But yeah,
that's
they're
unfortunate.
Like the scenes at the end where they're having their, the sort of the battle. I was like, I don't remember this at all, which is crazy.
What about you, Greg?
I was a huge Jim Henson fan, so
Right.
I absolutely saw this movie more than once.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw it in the theater, but HBO.
Mhm.
It was just I knew this movie. I really liked the movie. It was very cool. I think being a little bit older though, I did have like it's kind of for littler kids, but that I was this is so cool. I love just the Muppets and puppeteering and all that kind of stuff. It was so
I
cool.
guess I'm grateful that I was right in the wheelhouse, the demographic that they were probably trying to get interested in the movie, and I certainly was. And so I'm going to point something out here. We like passed it now, but if we can back it up a little bit, I don't know. Do you have your? Because this is something worth noting.
Okay.
And it's something that so I've definitely seen this movie like easily 50 times.
Less or more than Goonies? Because you said
maybe,
Goonies was.
It's true. Maybe a little less.
A little less.
But
okay.
like they're neck and neck. Okay, so yeah, this is good. Perfect.
And I'll just mention that I grabbed
And there's a
something
Labyrinth game.
before we started recording, because when I was watching it just the other day again, I saw the Labyrinth, and so I grabbed my I'll actually hold it up here so those on you can see it's the Labyrinth, which is part of the opening part of the movie.
Yep, totally. Which I think that they probably it's probably that same one, but they embellished it a little bit.
Some
Like they put the
trees
they painted it. Anyway, so this, for those of you that can't see, it's the beginning. Sarah's in her room. She's all pissed off because she's just like an annoying teenager, and they're like panning the different things in her room. And so if you want to press play, I'm going to point something out, which I did not notice until like the last couple of years. So you've got your Wizard of Oz books and obviously Storytale. There's Hoggle. So this scrapbook, this is like her mom and the playbill and whatever. She's with David Bowie. The man in those photos was David Bowie.
Oh, that's so cool.
Out of here.
Yeah, which I didn't notice until the on-off romance back together. The cutout. But I think that and obviously he was a co-star because I think that's a stage kiss. It's a cutout of the playbill, but yeah, that's David Bowie.
That's pretty wild.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So and I couldn't believe that I'd never noticed it before. Oh, and there's Robin Hood.
Oh yeah.
I think I saw somewhere that
And
the
Friar
voice
Tuck.
actor of Robin Hood was one of the puppet actors. Like the voice. I think I remember seeing that.
Okay,
somewhere.
I mean that's there are all these Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And I mean I don't know. It just Jim Henson movies are such like a rich tapestry.
Yeah.
So many cool things. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. And that's one of the things I love going back and watching, all these movies that we watched when we were kids, where when you're a kid, you're so focused on what's the main thing you're supposed to be watching in the scene. And you miss so many of those little, the photographs on her mirror and all the great stuff on all the shelves.
She's got Judge
Oh,
Dredd
look, there's
there,
Ludo.
And Ludo, and there's Jareth.
Oh yeah.
And I mean there's so much. And now she's being a little brat.
She was. I didn't remember her being as brat. I was watching the first. I'm like, what? The parents are just asking her to watch the kid. I mean, it's not like.
Well, I mean, she's a hormonal teenager.
Yeah.
She's 15 maybe, and then she's all pissed off because, somebody took her beloved Lancelot.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I just wish you would go away, even though she really doesn't wish that.
When I saw something about how they would get Toby to cry, because he does have to cry quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so much of it was just keeping him up when it was nap time.
Mm-hmm.
Because he loved all of the, and I don't know if you guys read or know or read this too, but that his dad was the costume designer and part of the.
I don't think I did know that.
So he was part of the Jim Henson world. So this,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Toby grew up around all the puppets and would squeeze their noses, and so the goblins and stuff didn't
He was
scare him.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to get him to cry, they would just keep him up past nap time, and that was enough to set him off.
Poor
So.
buddy. Yeah, it's funny when I was watching it last night, and I was just like, God, this movie came out in '86. They probably were filming it in like '85. So that kid, I don't know, I didn't look him up on IMDb, but he's probably born in like '84, '85. So he's in his 40s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I swear my phone listens to me. I know
course, it
it
listens to all
totally
of us.
does. On my Instagram feed was Toby as an adult in the red striped jumpsuit doing an advertisement for like AARP or something like that. I sent it to you. I'll forward it to you as well. It's just-
AARP?
yeah, isn't that's the retired people
Yeah.
or whatever. Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
No, it's not. I'm like, why? Because you see you're flipping and whatever, and
Yeah.
like, that kid's wearing a red. That's an adult is wearing this thing, and it's like, what? I'm like, oh my God, because he's doing the power of the babe, like in the commercial. I'm like, oh man, that's
It's like the babe with the power.
Yeah.
So I have a funny story about that line. So my husband Ed, he's very thoughtful. He is so good at giving gifts. He thinks about people and what they would like and whatever, and I always very much enjoy getting gifts from him. And so one year for my birthday or Christmas or something, he's always like, he sees things and he'll order it, and they sort of come in piecemeal. And there was one gift that had been late, and it came in, and we were like getting ready for bed, and he goes, oh, here, this was one of your gifts that came late. I'm sorry I didn't wrap it. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And I open it up, and it was upside down. And it was this like pencil case, it's like, I don't know, maybe 8 by 6 or something. And what it says on there is the babe with the power, and it has like a picture of the flying owl. But in reading it upside down, and I had something going on in the moment where I wasn't like fully paying attention. And when I looked at it, it was upside down. And in my mind, it said like "babe with the bathwater" or something. And I was like, "Oh, thanks. That's really I like it." And he's like, "What is your problem?" And then I finally, like a minute or two later, looked at it. I was like, "Oh, now I see what it says. This is really awesome." And I'm sorry, I'm such an asshole. And I use it every day because I like put a bunch of pens in it, and that's what I draw from to like write in my journal everything. But every time I look at it, I'm like, God damn it. I'm so stupid. The babe with the power.
That's funny.
That's great.
And he loves this movie too.
Oh, good.
And we've played it for our daughter Charlotte, like a handful of times. But I think she's finally old enough now where she's like starting to pay attention and actually like it. And it kept her attention the whole movie. And she, and of course she like knows all the characters' names and whatever. And I got her this new water bottle, and Ed and I both like to put stickers on our water bottles. And she said, Mama, can I put a sticker on my water bottle? And I said, yeah, sure. And so I went through my like stash of stickers last night, and I have actually a Goonies sticker pack
Nice.
and a Labyrinth sticker pack. And so I like chose some choice ones to be like, okay, here are ones that I'm like okay with you having, because they're all right. They're not ones that like I want for myself. So I gave her like a couple of options. There was like a couple of Goonies ones that I gave her because she also loves the Goonies. She like asks to watch that all the time.
Nice.
Raising them right.
Parenting win for sure. But then she chose the Labyrinth one, which is like the regular kind of the Labyrinth, I guess, like what was the poster, so it's got David Bowie and like the Labyrinth behind him and all the different characters. She chose that one, so we put that on her water bottle, and I was like, okay, you can't like peel this off. This stays here forever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, coming back to Toby, I did see that he does work in the industry. He became like a stop motion animator.
Oh, interesting.
And he's actually working on a project with Netflix to do, I guess they're doing like a revisit of Dark Crystal.
Didn't they already do that?
They did a series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Netflix did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I watched like one episode and I said, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Same here.
But I guess it's comforting to know that there is someone that was like attached to the Henson world that wants to do it.
Yeah.
Because one would think that they would try to do it justice.
I would hope so. Yeah. Did you like that movie? Because that was, thinking of age-wise, that was definitely more of a, probably an earlier 80s. I think
that came out in like 82, 83. It was scary.
was so
The
scary.
Skeksis are for sure, even still watching that movie, they're like very intimidating. But I did. But I was like the type of kid that, one of my favorite movies was Return to Oz, which is like very demented.
I've heard of that, but I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Fruza Balk is in it. And I haven't seen it in years. I need to watch it again. But like the sort of the overarching scary thing that I remember was that the villain was this like evil queen or something, and she could remove her head, and she like had all these heads that she would then wear. I don't know. It was not as like bubbly and
Didn't
fun
have that wholesome
as,
sort of vibe.
exactly
to it.
as the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it definitely scared. I remember it scared me, and I think I was a little bit older than you would think I should be scared at a movie like that. But I remember watching it going, I don't feel good. I don't feel good after watching that.
So that's all to say. I loved that movie. So I think The Dark Crystal was probably in line with that kind of demented nature that I had growing up and still have.
So do you think that made you love Bowie as you got older, or do you love how
This
do you feel?
movie?
Yeah, do you feel like that influenced you at all? Or
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So musically, I wasn't really hip to him yet. This was my first introduction to David Bowie.
Yeah.
And what I've always said is that, at like 6, 7 years old, those were probably the heights of when I was watching this movie a lot.
Yeah.
Because it was on TV and whatever. Excuse me. But what I always say is that David Bowie and his, tights.
Very, very.
With his like Ken doll crotch there. I took notice of that as a kid. And it was like the first real, I guess, sexual attraction that I had in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought David Bowie's hot. Like he was hot in this movie. And that was like the first time that I remembered feeling any sort of way like that. And then I went on to just love him for the rest of my life because he's just the best. He's so incredible. And actually it's funny. I just had the thought in my head that my daughter is aware of David Bowie because of these. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these books. Before she was born, a friend of mine gave me these 2 books that are The Story of Rock and The Story of Rap that are like kids' books that talk about, the history of, very abbreviated obviously, of, these music genres. And David Bowie is listed in this book. And then my sister also gave us a book that was about David Bowie. So she, he was kind of in her orbit. But I didn't even think to be like, hey, that's David Bowie last night. And so when we watch it again, I'll have to tell her. But yeah, I mean, I was very hip to Bowie as a result of this movie.
Yeah.
Watching it again, as a 50-year-old guy, I think I never thought about this before, but I'm like, this is a coming of age movie for girls. Mm-hmm. And me, I'm looking at it as a fantasy, nerdy type thing. I'm like, I think this was for young girls as a coming of age movie, and I just never clicked for me before.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've never really thought about that like that either, but it is, she's a young girl. And I guess there's a little bit of an inappropriate element to it because he's this older man and she is a budding young.
Well, isn't she leaving her toys behind? And,
she is
and,
for sure,
yeah.
but she's still definitely underage, but he's in love with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she probably has some sort of like feelings toward him as well.
Yeah.
And it's innocent enough.
Yeah.
But in
Completely.
the age that we're living in, it's like,
One of my weird facts was that David Bowie said he would not kiss her.
He should not have.
Because he was, no, like they were talking. I guess I don't know if they wanted him to or whatever, but he says she's underage, and I'm not going to do that.
Yes.
So it's like, way to go.
Yes, David Jones. Wasn't that his real name?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the best. Oh, right, because Davy Jones. I think that
Monkeys.
was it. Yes, I think he was like another David Jones. But
That's
yeah,
funny.
I had not heard that, and I am delighted to know that is a thing.
Well, and I have to say, like, the fact that I didn't remember a lot of the second half, I'll just say, like when they get to the ball and she's all dolled up and it has sort of this eyes wide shut sort of vibe going on. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't remember this, and I don't know where this is going, but David is really, following her around the room. I hope this doesn't go in a place that I don't remember. And yeah, it's very innocent, and
Well, I mean, the movie's PG.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Henson ever would have
No,
done
no.
anything
And
inappropriate.
I'm saying
in
it in jest.
for sure. But I mean, it's like as an adult, sort of viewing it with fresh eyes,
Yeah.
not really remembering a lot of the details of it. You're probably like, where's this going? But no, I mean, this movie is just perfect. I love it so much. And I could watch it again and
You
again
just
and again.
keep watching
Yeah,
it,
as an
yeah,
adult. I mean,
yeah.
I will watch this throughout my life. I'll be like 80 years old watching this movie.
I think the scene that we're watching now got what made me realize this was going to be an awesome movie, where she's walking down the long straight path and it's like, well, where's the turns? How do I get into this labyrinth?
Mhm.
And the forced perspective or whatever, the way the wall is pushed back. I was like, oh, that is so cool.
Mhm.
When
And
go ahead.
no, you please.
No, I was just going to say, like, Greg and I have talked so many times about how many of these movies from our younger years, the practical effects are so great. And that's just such a great example of a practical effect that just, even as a child, as an adult, seeing it, you're like, that is so cool and so fun. And to be part of the set design to do that kind of stuff is, I would have loved to have been able to be involved in that. It's so cool.
Because look at this. I mean, it looks real. She's walking down through, she's just entered the labyrinth. She's trying to figure out which way to go. And it just, she says, there are no turns or anything, and it just goes on. And it really looks that way. Like the practical effects that you're talking about, it's very realistic. But also, I mean, if you're paying attention, it's actually not that long. They're recycling these shots, and I will point out later that this long pathway is used again in the movie. They've just repurposed it, and I'll point it out when it comes up.
When I think at that point too, she is at the end, like that is
a
a facade.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And there's my guy,
That's interesting. Yeah.
the worm. Hello. And for those here, I guess I can. pull
There it
up. I've
is.
got my
Yeah.
little buddy.
Hello.
There he is. Did you just say hello? No, I said hello, but that's close enough. Yeah, I know every word to this movie. And again, the details, right? Like, the devil's in the details, and that was something that Henson was so adept at.
Yeah.
Going back and watching, we've talked now probably a couple of times about Emmett Otter's Drug Band Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many details in that film. There's so many details in everything that he does. Like, Muppet Christmas Carol. I started watching that a bunch because Charlotte was like old enough to appreciate it, or at least like watch a little bit. And they're so minute, but it's one of those things, like, these movies are such, you can watch them again and again because there are so many of these different things that you can pick out that you've never seen before, because it is so rich. And now she's walking through the wall, and the worm's like, oh, why did you go that way? You should have kept going down that way. You would have made it to the castle. Stupid girl. But it's all about the story and the experience.
Another fun fact I found out was the screenplay. They had a lot of versions of it, but one of them was written by the Terry Jones from Monty Python.
Well, the version that they go with, because he's credited as having written it.
Okay, so. See.
Yeah. which is awesome because I can kind of detect a little bit of that humor.
So can I with the knight and the everything. It's like, is this the Black Knight here or what's going on?
Well, and like the old man that's wearing the bird hat, there's definitely some sarcasm happening here.
So Monty Python.
Yes, for sure. Oh, there's Toby crying.
I think it was cool too that Brian kind of got to be so much more involved in the making of this film, and I'm just reading it, but that their relationship, father and son, kind of crossed a new line where they were like colleagues, and they were just creating something amazing together, and that's really cool that they had that experience. Because unfortunately, the reality is that Jim only, I think it was like 3 years later when he passed.
I think it was like
making this.
1990 that he died.
Yeah.
Which is like such a loss for the world and for culture. And they've done a good job in continuing his legacy, and I'm sure that he's proud of where they've gone with it. But I don't know, I just like so many other artists that are taken too soon, what would the world have been like if he'd stuck around a little longer? Or a lot longer.
And over something that totally could have been prevented. I think it was a common cold that became bronchitis, became pneumonia.
Was that it?
And he just refused to go see a doctor. So it wasn't like it was, cancer or something like that. It was something completely treatable, but he just didn't get the treatment in time.
Typical man.
Well, and to your point, like I think it was like early 90s. Like back then, 53 seemed, not super old, but not super young either. And now that I'm knocking on that door, I'm like, he was so young. He was very young.
Well, and the life expectancy of humans is getting longer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he did have a lot more life to live potentially.
Yeah.
Keith Richards is still performing. And
oh my God, that guy's gonna outlive us all.
Yeah. Well, he's probably first in line to get Elon's brain plug thing to download your
keep his conscious
energy.
going.
Yeah. So.
Now she's using her lipstick to make the marks, which is very smart. But and then this guy's like, your mother has a fragment aardvark. So many different characters and like such detail, and it's all sparkling.
It makes me wonder if they just used, like, back in the day, I feel like growing up, we had every color of glitter in these little clear tubes. It was someone's job just to go around and glitterize everything.
But it brings it to life.
Yeah.
It gives it this sheen and this shimmer and like a real dreamlike quality. And that's totally what this is. This is a fantasy.
Did you see the Muppet special? That was about 6 months ago. So,
with Sabrina Carpenter? Yeah, no.
Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good, and they said if it was popular, they might even bring back the Muppet Show. So,
right.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's such like a mixed bag for me with that sort of thing, because culturally, like pop culturally, I'm very attached to the things that I grew up with, and there are certain things that should be untouchable, and
Okay.
But I do think that there's a world where the Muppet Show could exist again, and not be tarnished, or like the legacy, the original show would not be tarnished by what they do. But I don't know. I like, when Coming to America 2 came out, I was like, I'm not watching that.
I haven't seen it. No,
I don't, and I think we've probably even talked about this before. It's some things are sacred and should not be, touched again.
See, I'm in the vein of that, but when we were talking about Big Trouble in Little China, I kind of feel they could do a sequel to that and do it justice. I feel like it just lends itself to a ridiculous, because it's such a ridiculous thing to begin with.
Yeah, but the right people would have to do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And it can't be a made-for-direct-to-video. It's got to be like a full theatrical
Which I think
movie.
they probably could. But it's, you'd have to have somebody that, because John Carpenter's dead, isn't he? Or is he not?
I thought he was...
Is he still alive?
I think he's still alive.
He's not making movies.
No, not that I don't think so. That's a good one.
I don't know. Well, we're gonna have to
And-
cancel that booking.
Yeah.
We were gonna interview.
Oh, right, totally. Sorry. I mean, what the fuck is his name? The star of Big Trouble in Little Where am I?
Well, what's funny is when we did that, we did the review of it, and early on, Greg said Kirk Douglas instead of Kurt Russell.
Kurt, yes, I'm thinking Kirk in my mind too. God, there must be like a weird cloud going around our heads right now that is like siphoning our memories.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell. You know, he's, I guess, maybe capable of doing action movies still, but he's like kind of old and.
Well, and he's also Santa Claus now, so you'd have to,
There's that,
all
but
there,
razors do exist, so he could like cut his hair and do whatever, but and maybe that could like lend to the story, or I don't know. It's conceivable, but again, it would have to be the right team to make it happen, and those that are like very invested in the original film, so that they like know the vibe, they know the details, they like know how to draw upon the original.
The craziness that is that wonderful movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that leads to the obvious question then, because there have been rumors for probably the last 25 years that they would do a sequel
To
to
Labyrinth?
this, and it's been started and stopped and started and stopped. And the last that I read, it was still a viable project as of March of this year, that they had people involved, but the big hang up for all this time was what do they do with Jareth, the fact that David isn't available even just to like hand the torch off, or
Yeah.
and so it never seems to get any legs. But what's your like?
I mean, I don't know. Again, I would definitely feel some sort of way if it was greenlit and it was actually happening. But also, again, with like everything else that we've been saying about Jim Henson projects and about projects in general, if there's the right team in place, because I mean, Brian is very involved and invested in everything that goes on in the Henson world. I'm sure that they would be very thoughtful about how they would present a story for a sequel to this. But like, maybe Jareth had an heir because he was talking, when he had Toby.
Yeah.
Maybe he was like talking, I'm going to name you Jareth.
Yeah.
So like he was already planning on kind of like raising him as his son, like the Goblin Prince, as you will. So maybe there is a world that exists where Jareth has passed and there's a new Goblin King because there was some other kid that was wished away by their bratty fucking sibling and he capitalized on that.
Yeah.
Or maybe Jennifer Connelly, plays the role of like the mother, or is retelling the story, and then that young girl is has her adventure in the world,
Maybe, but there would still have to be a villain.
You gotta have
Like there's somebody that has to be in charge of the labyrinth, right?
who can sing and wear tight pants.
Yeah. Well, they broke the mold.
Yeah.
Which I did read that they were David Bowie was one of the people they were thinking of. They were also thinking of Michael Jackson and Prince.
Yeah. Prince would have been amazing.
Wouldn't? That was my thought. I'm like, well, he can wear tight pants. I mean, he practically owned a whole bunch.
He only wears
looks
high
like
heels.
Jareth. Yeah, I mean, he like on a Tuesday he would be like going to the grocery store looking like that already. So
but unfortunately, we lost Prince too.
Yeah. And there again, I think his passing was sort of preventable. I thought it was some complications that
he overdosed on pain meds.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I heard he messed up his back from years of high heels. I don't know if that is
and
is
like
the truth. Jumping
dance around on stage and being very active and touring and doing all the things. And he was also in his 50s.
Yeah.
I think he was 54 when he died. But he and Bowie died in the same year.
And I think Tom Petty died right around that same time too.
Tom Petty died later than that. Petty died in like 18, I think.
Okay. Because I remember like the Prince and Petty passing away. I was like, made me feel like really old. I remember I was like, oh man.
Yeah. Well, David Bowie and Prince dying in the same year. I remember saying to my cousin, who Prince was like her absolute favorite, being like, there's something they know that we don't. And then the world started to kind of fall apart
Yeah.
after that. So I was like, fuck. And you guys are like off somewhere being like, oh, we knew it.
Yeah. Now, Ellen, can I ask you? I did IMDb you, and I noticed you've got 5 upcoming things.
Yeah.
And I know that the one was the Forest Hills, which Shelley Duvall started, and you said, "Wait, it's going to come out again." What are you most excited about? All of these cool things.
I'm not sure. Really, I'm just excited to be working.
Okay.
I had set out at the beginning of last year to kind of revive my career, and that's what I've done. I'm working pretty steadily. I just booked another gig yesterday.
Cool.
Yeah, and so I'm getting out there, and for me, it's not about the satisfaction of going and seeing myself on the screen or
Okay.
having there be a finished product. I just want to work.
Okay.
And that said, I am looking forward to seeing what Scott Goldberg of the Forest Hills does with his project, because it has been evolving a lot, and I think he's probably going to be rebranding it into a new film.
Oh, okay.
But that remains to be seen. And the last project that I just worked on with a local filmmaker, Jareth Haas, for Shattered Perception, I'm very excited about that. And he and I have become close. He lives locally in the Lehigh Valley, and we have a couple of projects that we're trying to kind of work on, the two of us now. So it feels good to have creative people around.
Collaboration,
and, yeah, for sure, because I think that was part of my problem. Was I felt like I was on an island creatively and otherwise too. But now I've tapped into this world here, and I'm really grateful, and my wheels are turning, and
Excellent.
I'm, the more work that I get, the more conducive it is to booking more work. So yeah, I've got shit going, and I'm making shit happen, as I have on my bracelet here.
Nice.
Make shit happen.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, but thank you. It's exciting.
Yeah. Well, excited to get to see it. I mean.
Yeah, for sure, and I'll keep you guys posted on all that stuff.
Well, and I did see your line of shoes. Those look pretty amazing.
Yeah, so my appearance agent for my personal appearances, that sort of thing, Lucas, he knew this guy, Tom, who has a company called Bull Airs, and they're a bunch of nerds that make all these different shoes and accessories and things out of just pop culture stuff.
Yeah.
And so one of Lucas's other clients is Luke Edwards, who was the brother from The Wizard, and he was also in Newsies, and he was in the second or third season of True Detective. He played the bad guy in that. But Luke, for The Wizard specifically, they made this shoe deal, and so he had Luke Edwards signature series high tops, which is super cool.
That is really cool.
And so Lucas was like, why don't you do one with Ruby Sue? And I was like, okay. And originally it was just going to be me, but then they needed to get the rights from National Lampoon to do it. Not for Christmas Vacation. They are National Lampoon licensed shoes. So they can't be called Ruby Sue or Christmas Vacation. It's, I don't know why, because I guess that would involve Warner Brothers. It's a different thing.
Sure.
But these are National Lampoon licensed shoes, and they designed them. So as they were going through the process, they got the permission to license it from National Lampoon, but they were like, we actually want you to do other shoes in this line.
Oh.
So they're the Ruby Shoe Sues, but then there's Ruby Sue shoes, but then there's also a Clark shoe and an RV shoe and a Cousin Eddie shoe, which is cool.
Yeah.
And they sold them as a bundle, but then they also sold them separately. So, for me, I wanted my shoes to be high tops, but they were like, no, yours are going to be low tops because we're going to save the high tops for the other ones. I was like, whatever, that's fine. I guess beggars can't be choosers. But they came out really cool, and they took a bunch of the elements of my character. So on the right shoe, there's this like little dangly stuffy that's supposed to be a remnant of the stuffed animal that I've got in the scene. Oh wait, here. So we missed it. If you want, sorry, I have to point all these things out to you guys. So just back it up a little bit. So they're running away from the cleaners, but you can see here a little bit more as they're running down this hallway. This is the same.
Oh yeah, it's the same.
Yeah,
same
but
walls.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, it's just nighttime.
Yeah.
some
Well,
some
no.
arcs
So
in
like
there,
this is supposed to be
or arches.
inside. Yeah, they like created. It's a little different, but like it's got to be the same. As they're running away from the cleaners through this
Yeah,
like
it's
tunnel
that
or
wall.
whatever, but it's like they just cleaned it up. They put a ceiling on it and repurposed it. Anyway, sorry, what was I saying?
About the shoes. Yeah.
Right, thank you. So there's that. There's a little stuffy. And then on the tongue, on the front side, it's like the Ellen Latzen signature series. And then on the other side of the tongue is my like actual signature.
Okay.
And my name. And then on the insoles, there is like a living room scene, it's a fireplace that's lit, which is cool. That's like a really awesome detail.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is the plaid from like the one outfit that I'm wearing. And then there's like the bathrobe that I was wearing in the scene with Uncle Clark. That's like also an element. And on the back of the shoes, it's stitched shit and bricks,
So cool.
which it's like, I mean, how cool is it to have your own line of shoes?
Yeah.
And with such like an iconic character and like movie. So I'm thrilled to say the least.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're sending me a pair of each of them from the the
nice.
line. Yeah.
Wow.
So I've only gotten mine and the Cousin Eddie shoes. I'm still waiting on the other ones. They
Okay.
may not have made those yet. But yeah, they like showed up at my door and I was like, what box is this? And so I was like, oh yeah.
What a great idea.
I know, totally.
Yeah.
And they have like so many. They like, they have to release 30 to 40 different pairs of shoes
Wow.
every year. Like they really
That-
churn and
okay.
burn them.
Okay. Is there a website? Can anybody just buy these? Or are they super
Yeah,
limited?
so Bull Airs, it's probably bullairs.com.
Okay.
I'm not sure. If you go to my Instagram at Ellen Latzen, then you can see, look for the post about the shoes, and then they're tagged. But yeah, and they're pricey. I mean, mine went for like $3.99 a pair.
Oh my
Because they're
gosh.
collectible.
Yeah.
And they do them pre-order so that they, it's not like they're just out on the shelves that you can
Gonna-
just pick them up.
Yeah.
You pre-order it, you tell them your size, and then they make them to order.
That's cool.
Yeah. But I think that they're going to be releasing them again
Okay.
this December holiday season. So you guys might get a chance to get
Cool.
the shoes.
That's pretty cool.
Again, yeah.
Never gonna wear them. Just gonna put them on display. You know?
I know, totally. I put mine on so that I could like have them, but I'm not going to wear them.
Yeah.
Well, I'll find the link and everything. I'll put it
Yeah,
up on
please.
latchkeydads.com.
Thank you. Yes. Bookmark.
Yep. That's awesome, though. I'm a bit of a sneakerhead, so
Are you?
I might have to get myself a pair.
That doesn't surprise me.
I've got more than a few pairs of Jordans floating around, and
Mm-hmm.
Lee makes fun of me because there was an Instagram post years ago about this guy who had the exact same kind of shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and he had like I go to a wedding pair that were pristine, then church, then work, then it got
They're
all the way
all the
down,
same.
all the exact same, just varying degrees of wear,
Right.
to like his grass cutting pair that were like completely green, And I'm like that with my Adidas. I've got like so many pairs of Adidas.
I totally respect that approach, because it's like if you love a pair of shoes, you want them to be in a certain condition for, depending on what you're doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I bought my first pair of Jordans ever earlier this year,
Nice.
and I like forget that I have them because they're white with like a teal,
Mhm.
Ooh.
and white shoes are tough to wear, and I am definitely somebody that beats the hell out of my footwear. So I'm like, these are like great kicks, but I also like don't really want to wear them out because I don't want to have to clean them and do the upkeep.
Yeah.
So I respect that.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. But yeah, I've got a few pairs. I think I've worn them twice. I'm like, I've worn them, so now like the value of them is kind of lost. So
Right,
it's like I might as well
totally.
just wear them all the time, mow the lawn in them. But
Enjoy them.
Well, right. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's. Do you want to look at it, or do you want to like actually enjoy them
Yeah.
on the level that they're supposed to be
yeah,
enjoyed?
absolutely. Yeah, cool.